Okay, so the next thing you're going to need to learn how to use online databases. Online databases are going to be at any college you go to, whether you're at EPCC, UTEP, NMSU, no matter where you go. I think it's very important to start from the bottom and teach you how to use online databases from the way up. Because I think a lot of us, when we first get out of high school, we do not know what online databases are, and it's a shock. Everyone has a different teaching environment at each school they go to. So I say we jump right into it. I'm going to turn off my camera right now. And I'm also going to share my screen because I want to show you directly how to get to our online databases. As you know, guys, we access our online databases from our libraries page. So that's exactly where I'm going to go right now. If you did not watch the libraries page tab, to get to the libraries page, all we need to do is click resources and services and libraries. Or we could scroll to the very bottom of the EPCC website and click libraries from there. As mentioned earlier, you could speak to a virtual librarian live, a virtual reference librarian live. You could access our library research guides. You could get citation help, but specifically we're going to focus on our online databases. And again, if you do not know what an online database is, it's almost like a search engine that has various types of information sources. When you use Google, for example, when you Google coronavirus, you're going to get a bunch of articles and videos and websites that talk about the coronavirus. The downside to the internet is very dangerous and you will not always get the best resources. With our online databases, you're going to have more reliable resources. I'm going to stress it again. It's very important to understand why your resources are important, and we're going to talk about that in the reliability and using the internet section. But with the online databases, you'll have better peace of mind with your resources here. This is our main database. As you can see, it searches for books, articles, DVDs, and more. So like it says, you get your books, your DVDs, you'll also get newspapers, you'll get magazines, you'll get academic journals. There are some teachers who require academic journals, and if you know how to use this database, you could simply click academic journals and get them based on what you're searching. You could get videos, pictures, all kinds of things. This is one database of our many we have to offer. This is our main database because it shows our book collection, our ebook collection, and it covers all types of subjects. In addition to this one database with its search box, you have hundreds of other databases which are in the online database tab. And these could be general databases. So here's one database right here called Academic OneFile, then another one called Academic Search Complete, then this one called Avon. And if you wanted to access that database, you simply click the database, and you're going to have a search box, or two or three. I'll explain how the searches work in a second, but it's going to take you to the database. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. If this doesn't work right away, I will try another one. Sometimes they do perform a little slowly depending on internet connection and the server. Let's try another one. Okay, so this one is loading up. And please bear with me, this is very helpful. So as you can see, this is the Academic Search Complete database, and it has its search boxes here. Let's say I want to go to a controversial database. This is the database, the description, the database, the description. And these are all vaults that store information. Think of it like that. Search engines with academic, scholarly, and reliable information. Here's the CQ Researcher. It specifically focuses on controversial issues. So maybe if you're in a history class, this wouldn't be the best database to use, but if you're doing a controversial speech or things like that, this would be a good database. And here's its search box right here. The layout looks a little different. As you can see, climate change, college debt. It has a few controversial issues that you could use from the get-go as ideas, but you could use the search box if you'd like. It's very important to understand that there are different databases because you don't want to use a history database when you're doing research in a science class, or you don't want to use a literature database when you're doing research in a different other type of class. So that's why it's very important to recognize that there are different databases and they serve different purposes and they have different types of information and sources in them. Nonetheless, they are all good if you use them correctly. We'll go ahead and use the EBSCO Discovery Service since it's the database right from the get-go. And unlike Google, guys, you're just going to type your topic in with terms. So you don't want to type in a sentence where you might do that in Google. You'll just want to type in a phrase or a sentence. So I'll type in alcoholism, for example, and you're going to get a lot of results. I got 853,521 results on alcoholism. As you can see, this is called what's called a research starter. It gives you background information on alcoholism and alcohol abuse. Good to use for background information. But here's the article in its entirety right here. So you could read it and determine if it's useful to you. As you can see, the databases also pull up ebooks. Here's the title of the ebook. Here's an actual book. With the books, it gives you the location by Verde, and then it gives you the call number of where to find the book. You could click this book, for example, and read the record on the book. It tells you the publication type. It tells you the location, the title. It gives you background information so you can see if it's useful for your studies. It gives you ebooks, as mentioned. You could click it for the background information. But please note with ebooks or newspapers or journals, you're going to want a PDF full text available or an HTML full text because you won't be able to open it if those aren't available. Unfortunately, it's a sad reality of databases. Sometimes you do get things that aren't available, but for the most part, they work really well. And if I was interested in this book, I would just click it and access it. As you can see, it's an entire book. It's still going to load. It takes a second to load, but there you go. There's your book. And if you need to save time with the books, you could also search within the ebook and you could type in a term. I'll just throw in a term. You're in college, because I do want to specifically focus on alcoholism in college. And as you can see, it gives me each page that notes college. And you could go to that page. So once you learn how to use these tools, they'll be very helpful for your studies in any class you guys use, in any subject, in any topic. Now, when you do your searches, it's okay to do a one-phrase search if you just need general information, like on the coronavirus or maybe cancer. But if you're doing something a little more specific and you need more specific information, you're going to need to throw in an extra term. You're going to want to throw in the term and maybe we're going to do the college like I mentioned. So it went from almost 1 million results to 221,000. By throwing in and, it's what's called a limiter, and you're narrowing down your search. And now instead of it just requiring alcoholism to be in the article or the academic journal or the ebook, it's requiring alcoholism and college both to be in it, both those terms. So alcoholism and college must be somewhere in the title, the article, the text, anywhere in it. And obviously, if both those terms instead of just alcoholism have to be in there, it's going to narrow it down. And as you can see, this book has the terms college and alcoholism somewhere in it. I'll click it. And as you can see, the subject terms are alcoholism and college students, and that's why it yielded it. If I was interested in this book, I could contact Trans Mountain and get it. If I was physically at campus, they could show me where to find the book. Unfortunately, at this very moment, book requests aren't as easy as they once were, but if you were interested in a book, you could still contact us to get that information. But for this immediate moment, let's do this. There's a bunch of features on the left side, and I'm showing you the database here pretty efficiently, because if you understand how to use these features in this database, you're going to understand how to use them in other databases as well. Let's say you're just looking for ebooks. On the left side, I'll just click that ebooks button right there, and now I'm just getting ebooks. And look at that, the craft college teaching. I don't see much about alcoholism there. Here we go, alcoholism. And it does mention, you know, college here and college-aged men. So if I was interested in it, PDF full text, and I could read the whole book, the whole ebook, just as I mentioned earlier. If you weren't looking for ebooks and you needed academic journals, for example, I'll also include academic journals. So even if you don't know what an academic journal is, hey, at least you could get one now if a teacher requires it. Still very important to know what an academic journal is. As you can see, here's your academic journals. Alcoholism among Colombian college students. Alcoholism among college students, partying and college students. And again, if I was interested in the article, click it. Quickly read the summary and open it by the PDF text version. Or if there's an HTML full text version, you just scroll to the bottom and read it. Other useful tools when you do view the record is this cite button right here, print, save, email. So you can do a variety of things. Most importantly, I do want to point out the cite button. I'll talk about citing a little more in the citation section of this LibGuide, but look at this. And all databases have them somewhere in the layout, or most of them do. You could have your APA citation right here, your Chicago citation, your MLA citation. So it saves you a lot of time. You'll have your citations right there. You'll still want to understand the rules of citing and make sure you know how to cite and how to format your papers. But these databases give you the citations, whereas the internet does not. So talk about a big advantage. If you needed to narrow your results by date, you could do that, 2016 to 2021. And all these articles are no older than 2016 now. You could limit it by language, geography, publication, publisher, so on and so forth. And that's just one database, guys. Please note, I kind of dug in that one a little deeper because if you were going to use, let's say you want to use the opposing viewpoints, you still have your search box where you type in your terms combined with the word and. Just stick to and if you're new, but you could also use or not. So if I put alcoholism in not college, you're going to exclude the results with the word college. Or if you put alcoholism or college, you're basically going to look for articles with alcoholism or college. So it could be either or. So you're going to want to, if you're newer, just stick to the term and when you do your searches. Let me try CQ Researcher, guys. Sometimes they give you problems while opening up. The server hasn't been too well today. Here we go. But just stick to the word and. So alcohol abuse and college. And it's running a little slow, but see, as you see, it has the search box right here. Just like the EBSCO Discovery Service. It's just the layout looks a little different. The home page kind of had sample topics, but as you can see, it finally loaded up my alcohol abuse in college. And I have my articles right here. They just look a lot different. But as you can see, if they have a PDF available, you could use it. Or at this one, you just simply click it and it'll open the article. And here's your article, for example, in the CQ Researcher. Now, Just like the other database, you have your print button, your email button, and your cite button. Oh, and view PDF. So if you need your citation, APA, continue, MLA, Chicago, you have all your sites right there for you and your article. The layout just looks a little different, but it still does the same thing. This one just looks for controversial topics. And as you can see, the layout's different like I mentioned because this one also gives you samples. All databases might have different layouts, but they're more or less going to do the same thing. And you might have to play with your terms when you do a search. So instead of alcoholism in college, I might do alcohol and college. So now I'm looking for alcohol and college instead of alcoholism and college. While you're doing your research, you might realize, hey, let me try substance abuse and college. Or maybe you want substance abuse and alcohol and college. So you could include extra terms as well. You could take out terms. But just know, play with your searches. Don't be nervous. Keep playing with your searches, and you'll get good results. I try to include the and, but if you're doing a topic where you must exclude something, maybe you want to do, let's say, cardiovascular disease. You don't want any articles on smoking. You could type in that not and exclude smoking. And now you're getting articles on cardiovascular disease, but they will not mention smoking. If it confuses you, please stick to the basics. And if you need additional help, there's a help box right here, and it'll explain to you how to do your searches too as well. Very great tool for help, and you could also email me or contact me as well. I hope this helps you very much with the databases, and if you have any more questions, guys, please feel free to ask and email.